This is Don and Tony with 3D Custom Homes, and we wanted to kind of go off of where our last video was. We talked about the dreaming part, and then today we're going to talk about the design part a little bit. One of the things I think we'll cover is we'll go into the fact that we have a couple that are at the point right now where they're into the design part of it. A lot of people think that it's too early to design at this particular time in the stage of things, but we tend to think that the sooner you come in and we sit down and talk and start designing, the processes helps to go a little bit quicker. So Tony's going to give us a little bit on what we actually do in that actual part of the phase of design.
So what standardly happens is someone will call and say, hey, we'd like to come in and talk about a house. So we tell them to do a little bit of research, kind of at least know what your basic thoughts are, whether or not you want two-story ranch, walkout basement, or those types of things, and then basically your concept of whether or not you want to open floor plan or where you want. I want the master bedroom on one side of the house, I want my kids' bedrooms on the other side, or we're new family, so we want the master bedroom and the nursery to be right next to each other, that sort of thing. So this couple called and said they had a house design. So they brought that house design into us, and then we kind of pick that design apart and say, what is it that you don't like about it, and how can we help in the process of making this room a little bigger, this room a little smaller. Their major focus seems to be in entertaining. So they want to make sure that their kitchen island is 8 foot long by 5 foot wide, so they can have people sitting around and everybody kind of being in the same family room kitchen area. So we've been working back and forth and getting that process worked out.
So, as I sit in those meetings with you, I noticed there's a lot of discussion about maybe particular rooms other than that area there too, such as the bathrooms, the master bathroom and stuff. Is that really a time in this kind of a meeting that you're wanting to get into more detail, or we kind of wait till later on to really get into the detailed part of each room?
Well, it's the layout part's extremely important at that point, because we want to make sure that when we take that plan and then we take the plan to the process of bidding the house to get the price where it needs to be. So we kind of need to know what they want for floor coverings, what they want for their countertops and their vanity tops, whether they want a walk-in shower, or other questions are things like, do you want painted cabinets in your kitchen, or do you want stained cabinets in your kitchen? That sort of thing. All that stuff helps at this design phase to make sure that we can give them the price that they're looking for in the house.
So this is probably one of the most important steps that we take in this whole process, trying to figure out what they're actually getting their dream home down to what they really want.
Yeah, this is the main part where we collaborate together. So the dream part is kind of the customer's job to dream up the house that they want. The design part is where we come together and say, hey, let's wrap our heads around the entire process and say, let's get you to the point where you're comfortable with the price based on what we're going to do in each room. You're comfortable with the layout. Right now, in this house that we're talking about, there's questions about whether or not we move the handrail over 20 inches as opposed to 40 inches. And I mean, we get that particular with this phase just so that we know everybody's extremely comfortable with what they're doing.
So, like for me, it's kind of hard to sit there sometimes and listen because, I have my ideas and stuff. How hard is it to sit in a meeting when somebody is struggling with something and not tell them or say, how does that really work for us?
So we're building the house, but when it comes down to it, it's the client's home. So we're always willing to give our opinions on things. Sometimes we don't want to go too far in asserting what we want into the house, because at the end of the process, we want everybody to feel like it's their house and they took a major part. But there are times when you can tell when someone's struggling with a decision to where you have to say, well, in my professional opinion, I think this is probably the way to go, because in 10 years, it might not work out the way you wanted it to.
So this is probably more of a time when structurally the house is being put together, come up with, but not necessarily the color of the walls and different things like that.
No, that a lot of people will get overwhelmed in the very beginning of the process because they think they have to have all those decisions made, and that's just, we get the bones of the project together so that we can get the numbers all worked out, and then once you got the house going, we'll have a separate schedule lined up, and that's where we get to the deliver part of the dream design and deliver.
So how long do you actually anticipate in this particular stage? What do you think is a time frame for doing this particular stage?
It can take 2 weeks if everybody has their ducks in a row. It can take 3 months. This couple we've been talking to now, it's probably been 2 months from the first conversation till now. I'd say we're pretty close to putting it out to bid and getting the project going.
Okay, so that's a pretty good informational thing for the people to realize that, and some of it is driven by their schedule and how it works. We usually work with them. Mm-hmm. It is a major decision for them to come up with, what they really want in their home, and not for us to come up with that. So we're trying to read that from them. So, we want them to feel like they're comfortable in what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And that's why we're just really trying to help guide that and give them some direction. So
hopefully we've given you some information, and feel free to comment below or check out our website, 3dcustomhomes.com, to get more information.